I want to cut across to Ms. Dastidar. Ms. Dastidar, the fact is, whether we like it or not, it's been hanging fire for years. I understand many from your own party, and if you can go back to even the likes of Krishna Bose, have fought vociferously for it. But the fact is that it's happened under this government. He's got the timing right, whether one likes it or not, the Prime Minister.
You see, I'm afraid in a day or two down the line, we might hear that the sun shines because of the Bharatiya Janata Party government, or the moon where we landed through the Chandrayaan-3 amidst back-breaking, path-breaking work of the scientists have been possible because of them. That's not true, because the work started much, much earlier. I mean the Pokhran. That was much, much earlier. So if they start taking credit for everything under the sun, it is not true. Every member of the parliament, of both the houses, every citizen of this country, particularly ladies, they have been waiting for the reservation for women. But no political party in the country had the gall to come up and field, nominate women for either Vidhan Sabha or Lok Sabha on their own, without being forced by a bill becoming an act or through the Election Commission's notification, except All India Trinamool Congress. 1996, Mamata Banerjee really fought on the floor of the House to make this happen. It didn't because of certain patriarchs, I don't want to name them.
Socialist parties, ma'am, why not name them? Name and shame sometimes.
It's okay. And then when she saw that the bill could not be passed, and when the Election Commission also didn't give out any notification, she sent nearly 40% women. She nominated 40% women for consecutive 2 terms to the Lok Sabha. And after being elected, we are more than 36% here today. So why the Bharatiya Janata Party didn't nominate so many women? Why the Bharatiya Janata Party doesn't have a single woman chief minister in the country? So this just goes to prove their intent, which is just, trying to, it's like buying extra claps from the common people that we've passed the bill, but when their intent is not true.
And I'm going to take this question to Ms. Sarangi. Ms. Sarangi, Ms. Dastidar has a clear point. The question of you had brute majority, why now? That question will remain. But the second question which she's posed, you have 5 elections coming in, Ms. Sarangi. Put your money where your mouth is. Give 33 representation in tickets that you give to women in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, in Telangana, in Mizoram. Why not?
See, here we are talking about the implementation of the bill that would become an act very shortly. Now, we will not be digressing from this concern, my request. And number 2, of course, I would like to say that this government, our government, has both the number and the intent. Had one not been there, we would not have been standing here with so much of confidence and hope and optimism. Now, as far as they are concerned, all these people are concerned, the opposition parties are concerned, they may be having the intent, but they didn't have the numbers. So I think once they did not have the numbers, why did they actually go for it? They knew they would not be able to build the consensus. So it was their failure to build the consensus. And I said, I do not take 100% of the credit. I am saying lion's share of the credit, because ultimately Prime Minister Modi's government is actually translating that into action. Now, as you said, as far as the delimitation exercise is concerned, I would reiterate, I would say again, that the government represented by Honorable Home Minister yesterday was very candid when it said that while actually implementing the recommendations of the Delimitation Commission, it would be taken into account the fact that, the southern states should not be punished for good work that they have done in terms of population control. So we would be taking into account, and at the same time I would say, let it come, let it be implemented. There would be shortcomings.
And when will it be implemented is the problem, because we are waiting for it to be implemented. And one thing, Harsimrat Kaur Badal said it right. आपने लड्डू रख दिया है, अब आप खाने नहीं दे रहे हैं. दिखा दिया है।
Definitely by 2029, see, census could not take place
Okay.
because of diverse reasons. Corona was there. We couldn't have done
Okay.
it. This is one. And number two, delimitation cannot be done
Okay.
before 2026.
Ms. Dasidar, I'll bring you in on this. Now, two questions. Number one, even if it, the demand is implemented now, how can the government implement it now without actually identifying on, the seats which need to be reserved for women without a census? How is it even, or the delimitation exercise, ma'am?
You see, that is that is the question. COVID has been over for quite a few months now, but the census has not started. That is why it appears to be a jumla, just to entice the woman voter, which is not appreciated. You see, the states which are going into election, why don't they project a lady as a would-be chief minister and go into the election? That would prove their intent. Or why they already don't have a woman chief minister. Or the other, heinous crimes taking place against the women in the country, particularly in Jantar Mantar. You must have covered when our the gold medalists, the wrestlers were sitting there in Dharna in protest of their molestation by a Bharatiya Janata Party leader, an MP. He's still sitting in the house. Why wasn't he punished? The intent, see, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. If the intent is to do good for the women, then that man, I don't want to name him, he should have been suspended. He should have been suspended. So we don't see an intent of this bill seeing the fruit of the day. By 2029 or maybe even later than that, it is just trying to beat the drums and gather the women's vote.
All right, trying to beat the drums, gather the women vote. I have last 5 minutes. Instead of politics, maybe we can also come together, because at least I would reckon both of you will come to, together on the fact that this is a headlight moment for India. The fact that both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha have been able to come together and pass a bill. It is historic in the sheer strength that it's been able to do so. Aparajita Sarangi, last 5 minutes, ma'am, I'll give you 2 minutes to actually count back in history and maybe give due to all the women who fought the good fight. The likes of Sushma Swaraj from your own party, Geeta Mukherjee from the left, Krishna Bosa, even a Mamta Banerjee or a Sonia Gandhi.
I started my talk with you by saying that it has been a collective responsibility, and I just gave the number 454:2. So I think the Prime Minister today in the morning also thanked everybody cutting across party lines, all the MPs, whether male or female, whether this party or that party, for having passed the bill in the Lok Sabha yesterday, and today also we think it will be passed in the Rajya Sabha. So I think we are thankful to everybody, but at the same time I must say that to every action of Prime Minister Modi, there has to be an equal and opposite negative reaction from these people. They are naysayers, unfortunately, and cynicism is the disease they suffer from. This is a great moment for the women of the country, and I think all of us, instead of finding faults with the Prime Minister Modi's government, should celebrate this moment, should come out openly, and should for once trust Prime Minister Modi's government when it says that by 2029 these two exercises would have been completed. And I must say these are very complicated procedures. See, carrying out census is not a small job. Number two, carrying out the delimitation exercise by the Delimitation Commission is also a very complicated process. So I think we do not want a PIL in the Supreme Court tomorrow. And that was what told by the Honorable Union Law Minister yesterday. So we want absolutely error-free exercise, and that is why it will take time. But we are confident that by 2029, it would be grounded.
Ms. Dastidar, let's just give it the next 10 years. Do you see it seeing the light of day if it passes on both houses today? Because this is historic.
Definitely it is historic, definitely it is welcome, and definitely the truth is it was started much before Bharatiya Janata Party started the effort of bringing it on the floor of the House for discussion, like it happened yesterday, and we are all happy, women are happy. But we doubt whether it will really be implemented. You have to wait. How many years? That is you just now quoted Honorable Member Harsimrat ji when she said the laddu is in front of you, but you don't get to eat it. So you just remember the Ujjwala Yojana. In Ujjwala Yojana, we were told that just because women, they phuko the chula, their chest, lungs and all getting affected, their eyes are getting affected. But what we saw down the line after 1 year The cylinders were empty. They didn't have money to refill the cylinders, and they were using the stove on which they were putting wood and again using wood and charcoal to cook. So naturally, it fell flat on the face. That Ujjwala Yojana. The same thing might happen here. There's a lot of UN cry, so we don't want to comment now. We will wait. We hope it comes through because it was our project and it was our leader Mamata Banerjee who's shown the way by fielding nearly 40% women. Let them field the women
Okay,
without
politics
the
aside, I have
reservation.
the last 30 seconds. I just want to ask you, did you like each other's speech yesterday? If you had to pick the best speech, which one would you pick? I'm putting you both on a spot.
I definitely like her speech all the time because she's very smart. She comes from the administrative side and she's worked very well. Do you know that she is one of the, I'm the other. We both have done the maximum amount of work whereas MP-led development is concerned.
I didn't know that.
Both of us, we are the top two in the country. As far as MP-led. So yeah, so I always appreciate her.
Admirer of Madam Kakuli. So I think there is absolutely no question of any kind of ill will here. We are both women and we are very happy. And only thing is that, I would just like to mention here that out of 78 women in the Lok Sabha today, 42 women around are from the Bharatiya Janata Party. All things aside, we are very happy that this has come. And Kakuli ji and I both are extremely happy and delighted.
Well,